Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome to all of our students and welcome to our distinguished guests. My name is Kevin Jordan. I'm superintendent of schools here at SAD 46. And we're happy that although it's a much smaller crowd than we would have wanted in these COVID times, we're happy to have you folks here to help us celebrate a really momentous occasion for one of our employees here at SAD 46. So I would like to start by introducing Holly Couturier, who's the Executive Director of the Maine Principals Association. She would like to speak with you.
Hello, how are you? Good. Fantastic. Well, I am absolutely thrilled to be here. Thank you, Kevin, for the introduction. I am Holly Couturier, and I know that most of you know the Maine Principals Association, mostly because of high school sports. But there's another side to the association, and that side works with all of the administrators throughout the entire state of Maine. And one of the best parts of my job is I get to go and visit all of the schools throughout the entire state, and I get to work with all the incredible principals and assistant principals. And one of the roles that I get to have is to be working with a committee every single year to identify the best of the administrators throughout the entire state. And for the very first time, I would like to publicly announce and recognize Ridgeview Community Schools Assistant Principal of the Year. And I'm so glad I got to share that with all of you. I know that Mr. Jordan wants to say a few more words. Thank you. The master.
Should I tell the truth or be nice? Just a couple of things to say. It's obviously a very much deserved award. Anybody who watches Jessica work around here, it's amazing. Watching her deal with kids on a daily basis is quite phenomenal. Some of the things I think about with Jess is some of her nicknames. One I think that probably I hear the most is the boss. Men around here know where to go when they need an answer. The queen, I've heard a few times. Superhero, I've heard that a few times. But the one that's probably the most accurate is the best. She does a phenomenal job here for us in SAD 46, and especially at Ridgeview. I think if you ask the kids what their thoughts were, I think they would tell you the exact same thing. Jess has an amazing ability to discipline a child, but the child still wants to hug her when it's done, which is an amazing quality of a great administrator. I remember talking to Jess at some point last spring about when we had to go to remote learning. And she said the toughest thing for her when the kids came back to school this fall was not being able to hug them. So I think that tells you a lot about what we think about Jess. Whether it's her meeting the students every morning out front, wishing them a good day, whether it's saying goodbye to them at the end of the day, telling them to have a great weekend. In the recommendation letter I did for Jess, one of the things I notice when I'm out front at the end of the day is she'll tell a student, have a great weekend, and the student will look at her and say, you too. So there's a communication there, there's an understood communication between Jess and her students. I also want to recognize she and I see Mr. Hughes here, who last spring, many of you know, developed into Facebook stars, Facebook Live stars. Poor Mr. Hughes, I think, took the brunt of most jokes, but again, he was working with the boss. But it was received very well by our students and our families. They looked forward to those check-ins in what at that time was a very difficult time of COVID, and nobody really knew exactly what we were going to be facing, but it's that type of extra effort that really makes that connection with the community and with the students. And then Jess, we had to have her come in last summer. She graciously gave up some of her vacation time last summer to help us plan for the start of the new year. How is this going to work with 600 students, COVID, hybrid learning, scheduling? You probably learned a lot more about scheduling last summer than ever before. And she graciously came in, participated in all the administrative team meetings to help us as a district and also from Ridgeview's perspective, plan the new school year. So I could go on and on. I know Mr. Kisman has something to say, and we certainly want to hear from the boss. So I just want to say we're lucky to have Jess as an employee here in the district. And I think the students and the staff would certainly agree with me. Thank you, Jess, very much.
It is still morning. Good morning. As Mr. Jordan said, I am the principal of this wonderful school, and for the past 4 years, I have enjoyed Jess as my partner in crime. I'm not going to talk about her administrative prowess because anybody that's in this room knows that already. But I will talk about some advice I got a long time ago from a guy, he's now deceased, but Omar Norton, a very wise man. And I said, what's the secret of life? And he said, surround yourself with good and decent people. So I tried. So I found this one, and she's not only a member of that club, she's a president. She's the most enduring soul I've ever met, and it couldn't have gone to a better person. Thank you.
I'm a rule follower. Those of you in my family know that about me. Yeah, I'm a rule follower. Thank you. So I'm so relieved that today is here because I've known for about a week and a half, and it's been painful. It's been a painful secret to keep. So I know I have some family members who are not happy that I kept that secret for a long time. I don't have much to say, which is a big surprise, I know, to most of you. I just want to thank so many people, and I'm not going to specifically thank many people because I know that I'll leave some people out, but I do have some special people I have to thank. My family, my parents who put me through college. When I went into my master's and learned how much it costs to take a college class, I called them and I was like, thank you. I didn't realize how much money you invested in my life. So I wouldn't be here, literally wouldn't be here without them. My husband, who gets the less pleasant side of Mrs. Dyer on most days. He definitely bears the brunt of the long days and the hard work and the worry and the stress and the sleepless night. Mr. Jordan, who emailed me when Mr. Gray actually nominated me for this award, so thank you for that. And the process was hard. It was a lot of work, and I just was running out of time. And Holly was really great about sending reminders, and Mr. Jordan called me one day and he said, you are going to do this, right? As a rule follower, I was like, yeah? So I put the pedal to the metal and I engaged some help and we got it done, and I'm really glad that I did, so thank you for that push. The staff here, I cannot begin to tell you how phenomenal they are and how hard they work. That's all I can say about them. We're so lucky here as an admin team to have support. There's not many schools or communities that allow for schools to have 2 assistant principals and a principal. And that kind of support is so important because it's hard work. And we have a little A team which consists of our social work staff, our school nurse, and I just want to thank all of my past, Mr. Hughes, and present little A team members. Without them, nothing would get done around here. They're just amazing. Every teacher and administrator I've ever worked with, thank you. I've learned everything that I know from you. Most importantly, I thank the students. I love you, and I think you all know that.
This year since March has been the most challenging time in my career. However, the highlight was September 2nd. On that day, that's my little cousin, Miss Leila. I'm sorry, honey, I left you out. Thank you too. On September 2nd, we welcomed children back into our building after 6 long months. That morning made every second of hard work and lost sleep worth it. If you ask any educator, they'll tell you that they didn't want to become a teacher so they could sit in front of a computer screen. We became teachers because we love spending time with children. I always tell people that the kids are the fun and the best part of my job. During this interview process for this award, one of the interview questions was, if we came into school and asked your students to describe you, what would they say? I said, well, the first thing they would probably say is, she loves things that are sparkly. Am I right? Guys, am I right?
Yeah.
And then they would probably say that she's kind of loud. True? Yeah. But then I really think that they would add that they know that I love them and I make them feel safe at school. Am I right about that too? Mm-hmm. Okay. In a rural community further isolated by a global pandemic, the school is the center and the heart of that community. I hope that in the future, people will remember my dedication to not only the students and the staff of our school, but the community as a whole. All that is left to say is thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mrs. Pedro, do you want to come up and present Jess with, Mrs. Pedro, are you here?
Mrs. Pedro, yes, she's a tiger, unfortunately.
She can come right up. A couple of staff members helped come up with a couple of small tokens of our appreciation for Jess. The sequin.
This is me, Mrs. Jordan. Assistant Principal 2020.
Oh my gosh. These people get me. Thank you, everybody.
Everyone who attended today. If we can have Jess and some family members stick around for some pictures, and everybody else have a great day. Thank you.